When is death the best treatment for a patient? Like, when will they, as a doctor, realize that the patient needs to go? Because it's hard to really incorporate that value of life and death in these types of situations in a bad hospital setting, or you have a real bad disease or something of that order, and it's really, really hard to come to a good conclusion of what you need to do, when you need to do it, and how it needs to be done. And you don't want to use any site. It's so hard to say, but you don't want to use any self-motivation in these. Like I was saying, it's hard to put any of your own pain that you have against these people in the hospital, It's hard to put your own motivation behind it without killing them on purpose. Maybe you want them to not be here in that hospital. Maybe you don't like you have some bad past history with them. But it's a crime to go through with the death process out of your own hatred towards the patient. And it's really a hard process for these doctors to go through this process, because you'll have to deal with the family, and you'll have to deal with all that the pain that you have to say to these families after the patient's time to go. But in my case, so you know how my dad is actually my brother. Long story, if you don't know, just go back, listen to that what all happened back in the day, I'm not gonna repeat it. Real long story. Real long story. We are over it. We're out of here. Now we go through this other situation. So my grandpa, okay, real nice guy, lived solid life, solid. And he had some beef back in the day with this skateboard guy. I don't remember his name. But the skateboard guy, skateboarding was his main hobby, but his main job was a doctor. He was a surgeon. He made a lot of money. He seemed like a good guy from the outside, but on the inside, my grandpa, he was married to my grandma, but he was having an affair with this skateboard guy. And it was not a good situation. My grandma found out, divorced my grandpa, and then that skateboard guy, that's all we're going to name him as, because we're not putting any names on anybody in this situation. It's too much of a rough situation to bring back, So the skateboard guy, he got real mad because he liked that competition in this relationship with the affair with my grandpa. Okay. And without that competition, he didn't like being in this relationship. So he tried getting a divorce with my grandpa. Skateboard guy turned out to be a douchebag. From the inside, he's a douchebag. But that situation seemed like it would be over. They'd get divorced, maybe get some money from one side to the other. Such on goes farther and farther. It's much more detailed than that, but I'm not going to go down that route right now. So the skateboard guy lived his life and started going through some things and started going back to the past and wanted my grandpa back. Real bipolar. I don't think he was right in the head mentally. However, started talking to my grandpa again, and then it all went downhill when skateboard guy went crazy. He took the toilet off the sewer pipes, like off all the hinges, took the toilet and chucked it at my grandpa's head. And real rough situation because skateboard guy, remember, he's a doctor, he's a surgeon, real good surgeon. And he tried to play it off as he never did anything. The toilet just fell on Grandpa. So after this happened, Grandpa went to the hospital, was in a long time coma. 3 years later, skateboard guy found a new husband because apparently he just is a part of that life, you know. And I don't know who this husband is, but the husband is in for a rough challenge with that guy right there. Indubitably, he had to be Grandpa's doctor. Okay, that's fair because it was the closest hospital around, and it may have been a rough time, but I think legally he has to take care of him. But once Grandpa came out of that coma, skateboard guy, this whole situation with should the doctor just fucking to my grandpa or let it slide. But skateboard guy killed my grandpa, and he just played it off as saying Grandpa was gonna die anyway. We should have pulled the plug sooner. No, we shouldn't have. He seemed like he was getting back to good health. You dropped a toilet on his head. A whole toilet. It was a decent, like, medium-sized toilet. Nothing big, you know, not the one that, like, sprays stuff and, like, warms. It's not nothing fancy or big. It was just a hard toilet. And Grandpa was completely in a coma. He was not waking up, but then he woke up. And that's when they decided to pull the plug. So that's why I think we should make a fundraiser against doctors pulling the plug on the people that are in the hospital that could die, could live. I think the doctor should just let the people in the doctor's office tell them when they want to die, or just let them die peacefully themselves. Not do it for them. Maybe it wastes time, maybe it wastes money in the operating room. Still, I don't think it's right because things like my grandpa and skateboard guy can happen. It's not a good situation. I think we should make a fundraiser, start a new riot. Nothing like January 6th things, but I feel like if we do something, we make a change, it can not just improve our well-being, it can improve the people in the doctor's office that are damaged. It could improve their lives because they can not just live longer, but they could have that opportunity to get out of that hospital eventually. So, if you want to make a stand by me. We can make a bunch of posters. We can do this, that. Stop hospital deaths. Thank you.